I seen a video a few months back from a fellow YouTuber down in the Gulf states. I believe he's, I pronounce this right in Ohio, you say it wrong, you say Louisiana. When we traveled down south, he said Louisiana. So, I don't know if that's right or not, but that's how we always got scolded when we come down to the south, and then we were told we had accents and to go back home. So, what do? You can't win. But anyway, the fellow YouTuber down that way, he posted a video a while back of AM and FM DXing on the bands in the morning and evening, or before a thunderstorm. I can't remember exactly, but I kind of liked that video and it inspired me to try one here at home. And where I'm located, I'm about 45 miles northwest of Dayton, Ohio, up around a town called Greenville, Ohio. And we're kind of centrally located about 90 miles east and west, right between, I should say, the distance east and west of us. It's about 90 miles to Indy and about 90 miles to Columbus. We're about 102 miles north of Cincinnati, and just about, oh, I forget what it even is now, Fort Wayne's about 90 miles to the northwest of us. So we're kind of centrally located between some powerhouse radio stations up here. So I just thought I'd tune through the dial and kind of give you a bit of a peek of what we have up here. And I wanted to say that this radio in my truck has the RDS system, or radio data system, so as we scan through the dial, we might gather more information than what I can give you about these stations. And some of these might have changed, because around here stations are bought and sold, they change names. I mean, just in the blink of an eye, a station can change its name twice within a year up here. It has happened before, and they get bought out by Clear Channel and, you know, Backyard Broadcasting and whatnot. So let's turn the radio on and see what we got. At the low end of the dial, there really ain't a whole lot going on. And some of these, if they do have radio data, if it's weak, it might not bring up the display on there, or it might bring up a bunch of gibberish, so kind of bear with me. 88.1 is WDPR out of West Carrollton, Ohio. That's about 51 miles south of me. 88.3, that's Cincinnati, about 90 miles south. That's WAIF. 88.5 is WMVB out of Oxford, Ohio, which is about 40 miles to the south of me, straight south.
Larry Miller reports, even in death, Mrs. Thatcher remains so divisive a figure that
the precious blood so much good.
WOBO out of Cincinnati, Batavia, Cincinnati. It's about 95 miles south of me. This is a local Christian station out of Union City, Indiana, about 11 miles to the west. WJYW is what they go by, or Joy FM. And some of these I don't know what they are. They might come out of Indiana. We get a few from Michigan every so often too. Some oddballs. WKRT out of Richmond, Indiana, about 18 miles southwest of me. This is one of the Dayton public radio stations out of Dayton, WDPS. About 35 miles southeast of me. This is one of our local stations. WDPG FM Greenville, right here in town. Cedarville, Ohio, WKCD, about 33 miles to the southeast of us. WWDS, Muncie, Indiana, 40 miles to the west, I'm sorry. And this one's not listed, I'm not sure what it is. Indiana Public Broadcasting owns and runs a lot of these stations up here, and what Indiana Public Broadcasting doesn't own, Dayton Public Broadcasting does. So anything from about 88.1 up to about 91.7 is all public radio. And there again, I don't know what this station is. 91.9 or 91.1 WBSH, Hagerstown, Indiana. It's about 32 miles west of us.
Out better for all types of districts, you know, in the long run.
Steve Dyer, a former lawmaker, now with the liberal think tank Innovation Ohio, likes this Republican revision.
School funding should be relatively simple. We should
WYSO, that's Yellow Springs, Ohio.
But it isn't a done deal,
46
and the governor
miles
can
to the
still fight for his
southeast.
proposal.
One of the things I talk
Another Richmond, Indiana station, WECI, about 22 miles to the southwest.
tons of Al-Qaeda operatives captured or killed them.
This is one of Indiana Public Radio stations, WBSJ, Portland, Indiana, 37 miles northwest of us. So that's my local Sirius station, about 300 feet from me. 92.1. This is WRNB, West Carrollton, Ohio. This is the R&B station. There again, that's about 51 miles southeast of us, down around Dayton. 92.3, when that does come in, which it kinda is Columbus, Ohio, WCOL, about 102 miles east of us. 92.5, when that comes in, which it's not, it was a little bit ago, is WFX, the Fox, out of Cincinnati. That's about 90 miles south of us.
Bridging the gap between secondary.
This one again, I'm not sure, might be an Indiana station.
North Adams' success has been noted at one of 3 endorsed early.
92.9, or as it goes by Fly FM, WGTZ out of Eaton, Ohio. There again, 22 miles south of us. For the longest time, that was a pop station to about 3 or 4 years ago, and they abruptly changed their format to open format. Shook up the industry up here, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of people weren't expecting that. 93.1 WWSR, Lima, Ohio, about 75 miles northeast of me. Big WAKW, Cincinnati, Ohio. This is a good station here. This goes by Max FM. It's 93.5 WMQX out of Hartford City, Indiana. And they also partner with another frequency I can't get out of Alexandria, Indiana on 96.7, which is WQMX, I think. That one's kind of picky. It'll come in sometimes. It does not have radio data system.
At insight.org.
93.7 FM.
Shaping the will with wisdom.
WFCJ, that's the Dayton, Miamisburg, Ohio, I'm sorry. 35 miles away. And Hartford City on that last one is about 60 miles northwest of us. There again, I couldn't tell you. One of them stations, if you're parked in the right spot, you might get. The other ones might not. See what it identifies itself as, possibly. Top 40. See what it's got for information. WBKS. I don't have a clue where that's out of. .94.3, that's a picky one when it comes in. WKKI, Salina, Ohio. 40 miles northeast of us. Up until last year, this was the rap station out of Dayton. Now they've swapped spots on the dial. Now it's 94.5 WLQT. This was coming in this morning. It's WFBQ Indianapolis, Q95. About 90 miles due west of us. I think this one's Cincinnati, but I don't know the name. Radio data system's not what they're playing. There again, I don't have a clue. 95.3, that's WZLR Xenia. And that's about 60 miles to the southeast of us. That's another hard one to get sometimes. Radio data does work on that station when it comes in good enough. Don't have a clue. This is our local talk station that used to be 80s. WHIO FM. They also have WHIO TV, which is channel 7 out of Dayton, and WHIO AM, which is 1290 on the AM dial. It's all talk radio. And this one is Pleasant Hill, Piqua, Ohio, about 20 miles east of us. Powerhouse. You can pick that one up on the fillings of your teeth. WQLK, Richmond. Country music. 96.3 is WLQV, Columbus. Good classic rock station when it comes in, again about 102 miles east of us. 96.5, that's WFTK, Cincinnati, 90 miles south of us. They do have radio data when it does come in good enough. 96.7 WCSM, Saline, Ohio, to the north of us, 41 miles. No radio data on that one. 69.9, 69. I'm gonna try that again. 96.9. That sounds better. Identifies as Air One. It's an adult contemporary station out of Troy, Ohio, which is 25 miles southeast of us. 97.3 WMEE, Fort Wayne, 90 miles to the northwest.
How about that?
97.5 WTGR.
We are expecting some rain.
This is out of Greenville, Ohio, local, right here in town. Here again, I don't have a clue. 98.1 WUDR, Dayton, 40 miles away. 98.3 WZZY, or as it goes, Star 98.3. It's Winchester, Indiana, about 16 miles west of us.
Fashionista. Today's 498. Wendy's
I don't know where it's out of. It comes in all the time.
What is that sandwich?
Oh, my grilled chicken.
Adult hit.
Simply top shelf.
This one will vary. Sometimes if it comes in from Columbus, it's religious. I don't know the name. Other times if it comes in from MacArthur, Ohio, which is way down in southeastern Ohio, as WYSO. Depends on where the weather's from. And this one, until about a year ago, used to be able to get Fort Wayne WBYR, which was alternative rock. You can't get it at all now. You used to be able to get that on a piece of wire. It was so strong. So I don't know if they changed their direction they broadcast or turned their power down or what, but not anymore. K99 1 FM, WHKO, that's Dayton. Don't know. 99.9 was light 99.9 till again last year. Now it's channel 99.9, which is rap. Anyway, it goes by WCDH Kettering. That's about 35 miles south of us.
Jesus told his disciples that she had given more.
WEEC, that's religious. It's Springfield, Ohio.
God has allowed this ministry
41 miles east of us.
Mechanical services on your car or truck.
101.9 Portland, Indiana. WPGW, about 40 miles northwest of us.
You'll love their service.
This is the pop top 40 station out of Richmond, G1013. As it goes by WFMG, I think is what they go by. There again, a lot of these in this part, I don't know where they're out of. Don't have a clue. Depends on what direction you're parked, again, if they come in or not. 102.1 WIMT, T102 out of Lima.
Hi, I'll take a chicken pizziola now, please.
That's still Ohio, that's to the north of us, about 45 miles. 102.5 WMDH, Newcastle, Indiana. 40 miles west of us. 102.7 WEBN, Cincinnati, Ohio. 90 miles south of us. When that one does come in, it does have radio data. They're quiet. Wow, that's never good. This is the rap station out of Dayton, WDHT. Actually, Urbana, I'm sorry, that's north of Dayton. Straight east of us, about 40 miles. This is Hot 1029. It's the Russ Parr in the morning. There again, I'm not sure. Another station that comes in when it wants to.
Cell phone and its program, where you'll receive a free Samsung or LG cell phone with 1,000 free texts each month, or
1035 WGRR, Cincinnati, oldies.
Calls and more. All this by calling
Well, I shouldn't say Cincinnati, that's Hamilton, that's a little north of Cincinnati. About 55 miles away. 1037 used to be the Path out of Greenville, local here, now it's K-Love. It was religious broadcasting.
Get a Cool Ranch Doritos.
Let's see, 1039. This is WEBN, the X, out of Beaver Creek, alternative rock. Again, another station that kind of changes ownership every so often, about 55 miles away. WLBC Muncie. This is a Pop Top 40 station, about 40 miles away. WTUE out of Dayton, Ohio. This station has been around forever. Back in the 60s, this was still WTUE. Rock, classic rock. When that comes in, that's a good station. That's oldies out of Muncie, Indiana. WERK. Don't have a clue. WMVR, Sydney, Ohio. 43 miles north of us. Pop Top 40. 1059, this is WNKN, Middletown, Ohio. 43 miles away to the south. And it's another one of these stations that the calls might be WNKN, but they broadcast from other stations to this one. It's like a simulcast station they use for down around Dayton. I think the actual home frequency comes from up north somewhere. I don't remember the actual name of the town, but it's nowhere near Dayton, so they satellite transmit that one back and forth. And here's our local oldie station, WDSJ out of Greenville. This is another one that's been through a lot of format changes in the past 10 years. It used to be Smooth Jazz 1065, then they went to Buckeye Country. Now they've stuck with the oldies format probably for about the last 4 years, I think. And it's owned by Clear Channel. 1069 WXXC, that's Muncie. Does have radio data when it comes in. It's a good classic rock station. Again, that one's about 40 miles northwest of us. This one's a good one when it comes in. It's out of Lima, Ohio. It's Laser 1075, alternative rock. WZRX, yeah. And last but not least, WMMX out of Dayton, Ohio. This was in 80 stations for as long as I can remember. You know, they changed format a lot. Some of them are still close to what they were one time. So that's pretty much it. You know, that's what's on the FM dial up around this area. Now, I'm going to call this part 1 for the FM side of the band, and part 2, which I'll upload in a couple days, will be the AM side of the band locally. So that one I'm going to have to do a little bit more research for, because up in this area you get stuff out of Michigan, you get stuff out of Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Tennessee. You know, again, you're centrally located up the East Coast, so it's kind of hard to say what will come in and what won't. So I'll have to make a list and write it down. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and more to come later, and thanks for watching.